Hello all, I thought I'd do a quick video to show you how to do proper APA formatting. APA formatting is not just citing your sources. There's a lot to it. It's very, very cumbersome and very particular in the way that things are written. There are whole books written on how to do this properly. I did give a reference for Purdue OWL. They have a lot of resources on there on how to properly do this. We don't have to get too much into all the intricacies of it, but I thought what I would do is just give you an example of a paper I wrote for my master's thesis that basically gives you a reference. I will upload my paper so you can reference my paper just for the citation, or you can use Purdue OWL. But one thing I wanted you to realize is that when you're writing any sentence or any idea, thought that you have that is not your own thought, you have to give credit to your source you got it from. You can't just state here, I write that champions act as mentors and can facilitate and adhere to changes. That's not my idea. I did not come up with that. Who did was Swathi. So as I'm writing, if I want to write something that is not my own idea or my own thought, I have to give credit to who it goes to. So this is the proper way to do that. I write my sentence, and then at the end of my sentence, I can give credit to who actually came up with the idea. The very next sentence, I want to reference the same author, or this one is multiple authors, and the proper way to do that is you write the name of the author, and then you put the date after it like that. So I want to discuss Swathi et al. So I say Swathi et al. Terms of awareness percolation, where new personnel are introduced. Blah 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 blah. So up here, this first reference, I'm basically citing them as the idea maker for my sentence, and then the second sentence, I'm basically describing something that they've said, and that's the proper way to cite that. So not all citations are going to look like this one. Sometimes citations, if you want to use it in a sentence, would look like this one. And then if I switch authors, so this idea, this would require education during orientation for all new staff, not just medical personnel. I have to give citation to who said that, or whose idea that was, other than Swathi. My very next sentence is now an idea from Swathi, so I have to go back to citing Swathi. So basically every sentence that is not your own thought, that you did not come up with, that you did not think of, you have to give reference. Now, it's going to make a paper filled with a bunch of these citations, which is perfectly fine. If you state something like respiratory acidosis is a problem with the lungs not releasing carbon dioxide, I would question that if you, as your own original thought, if you did not put a reference after it. I just don't think that some of you would know that off the top of your head. Now, if there's something that you've experienced in the field and you've seen this, and you wouldn't have to cite that because this is your own thought, your own idea, this is the way you experienced whatever it is. But if the idea behind it is not your own, you need to cite it properly. So that's how you would cite within text. So as you're writing your responses, as you're writing your original discussion post, you should be using quite a few citations to reference who the ideas came from. Now at the very end, I'm going to skip, this is page 11 of 28. This is my thesis, so it's pretty long. I'm going to scroll all the way down to my reference page. And as you can see, my references, there's three pages of references. So the way that you write a reference page, and for your discussions post, you're not going to do an actual separate page for that because you're just going to write it all in one. Reference would be centered, and then this is the proper way to cite. This is a journal article. This is a journal article as well. There's some of them that are online journal articles, so you got this DOI number, and then there should be at least some from the web, which a lot of you are probably just going to pull things from the web or the book. I probably didn't use too much internet sources in my paper. I don't see any internet sources on my paper because obviously this is, yeah, right here, Kaminsky. This one here, oops, let me erase this one here. And you write retrieved from this one. Some of you are used to other types like Chicago formatting and whatnot. APA format does not have the date you referenced it. It just doesn't. It doesn't really care what date you referenced it. You just give credit and you put the site there. So you would write the name of the person writing the article, the date, the title, and then who the poster is. So there's lots of different ways to do this. Purdue OWL has every single example of like an online text versus a paper text versus an article versus how to write it if they have multiple authors, like 6 or more authors. So as you can see, affiliary here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 authors. For 6 authors, you write them all out. 6 or more, you would use an et al. Oops, let me find et al. I don't know if I have too many to have that many authors. I don't see one. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 authors. I'm not sure if I made a mistake on this one. I'd have to refer back to et al. I'm a human. I probably made a mistake. Anyway, I think it's 6 or more authors. You can use the et al. In your insight texts. Anyway, let's see here. So this is how you would properly do it, and you'd list them all alphabetically. Some of you are just writing the internet source you got it from, and that's not APA format. For this first discussion, where I'm not going to harp on you too much about your APA format, but I do think it's if you want to pursue your career going forward in the medical field, APA format is the format you should get used to, because that's all medical papers are written in this way. Papers for English and other courses are written in like Chicago and MLA or MLB, I don't know, whatever the other one is, but we do APA in the medical field. So I will post this up so you have at least a reference. I'll post this video so you've got that to help you out if you have any questions about it. Oh, one more thing I would recommend. I would recommend either using Google Docs or Word document to write your original post, put your references in there, write it all. You can get a really good spell checker that way. You can check your grammar. Like, there's a lot of really good resources there. Then what I would do is I would copy and paste your written text into Canvas. If Canvas goes down or you lose internet connection, at least you'd still have a copy of it somewhere. You wouldn't have to start all over again, because I've taken many online classes and I want to shoot myself every time that happens, when you're writing this long old thing and then next thing you know, oh, you took too long, you retimed out. So that would be awful. So practice writing your stuff in Google Docs, because it saves it as you work on it, or in Word, because you can pull up an unsaved version of your documents. Copy and paste. I do not need, let me go all the way to the front here. I do not need you to have like a reference page like this that talks about what your you don't have to have this whole piece here. All you got to do is just get into your discussion, so you can just talk about whatever you're gonna. You do not need an abstract either. You just basically get into just from here down, talking about what you're going to talk about, and then have your references listed right after that. Okay. Hope this helps. If you have any questions, please post them in the questions and answer for week 1, and I'm here to help. Let me know how I can be of service. Bye bye.